Sparrow flying is one of those things that is easy to do but hard to master, but with this tutorial, you will know how to master sparrow flying by the end of this video. Before we get into this tutorial, there is one thing that you do need to have before you start sparrow flying, and that is the specific perk on a sparrow, the destabilizer. Without this perk, you will not be able to do any of these sparrow flies. You need this to be able to do sparrow flying. Once you have obtained a sparrow that has the destabilizer perk, you can now begin this tutorial. So we're going to start off with the basics and do a single side dash in the air. So there will be a controller in the corner of this screen to show you what buttons I'll be pressing at what times, Xbox being the first buttons, then PlayStation being the second set. Now I'm going to slow this next clip down just so you can get an idea on how to sparrow fly for the basics. Just while this is playing in the background, I forgot to mention that you need to tap your left stick. If you don't tap it and just hold it down, you will lose full control of your sparrow and just won't be able to sparrow fly since you're holding it down. You'll be spinning way too fast to be able to control it. Back to the video. So before we continue, you need a personal preference on if you want to use the left triggers or the right triggers, because I personally use the right triggers because it's a lot easier for me. And since I began with the right triggers, it's just been a whole lot easier and I've just lived with going with that way. But if you want to use the left triggers, that is completely fine. Here's a slow-mo clip. Now once you've mastered the single dash, you can now move on to the double dash, which is a little harder, but it's still easy to master. Now if you're using the right trigger, all you're adding is a simple left trigger after the right trigger, but if you're doing the opposite, all you're doing is left trigger, then right trigger. I'll slow this next clip down for you to watch. Again, you don't want to hold down the left stick. If you hold it down, you will lose full control. Notice how I'm tapping it, not holding it down. Again, if you hold it down, you will lose full control. And here is a slow-mo clip of if you're using the left trigger first. After you master the double dash, you can now move on to the triple dash, but before we move on, you need to know how to do the double dash and perfectly land like how I've done in every single clip. Now for a triple dash, all you have to do is right trigger, then right trigger. Or if you're doing left start first, you got to do left trigger, then left trigger first. Now I've seen too many people do this, just randomly spin and hope for the best. And no, it doesn't work. I don't know how the fuck I landed that, but don't do that. What you want to do is take your time and keep you cool, because otherwise you'll have no control of your sparrow. Now once you have mastered the triple dash, you can now move on to the quad dash. And then after the quad dash, move on to the 5, and then move on to the 6. In other words, just repeat the previous steps and then just keep upgrading and adding an extra dash onto it. The way you know you have mastered sparrow flying with the basics is if you hit the sky barrier with all 6 dashes. If you still haven't hit the sky barrier, just keep practicing until you hit that sky barrier. Here is a slow-mo clip of 6 side dashes. Now after you've mastered the 6 side dashes, you can now move on to the basic sparrow flying over the Hellmouth, just starting from where I did to this little platform over here. Although you are still learning the basics of sparrow flying, you can still hit the sky barrier, so you might want to be aware of that. So all this fly is just a simple 6 dashes while just moving slightly forward. But as soon as you start that first dash, you need to stop moving forward, because otherwise you'll just end up falling forwards and going straight down into that Hellmouth. Now here is a slow-mo clip of me doing 6 dashes over this little gap. Note how that as soon as I start turning to start the dashes, I stop moving forward with my left stick. Because if you keep moving forward with that left stick, you'll just instantly face downwards and you'll just lose full control of your sparrow. With your left stick, all you have to do is move one specific direction and continue tapping it. You don't want to move it backwards or forwards, otherwise again, you will lose full control. And as well, don't worry about the ads, you can just respawn your sparrow. Now that you've learned everything that you need to know, now it's time to jump over the Hellmouth. The Hellmouth is actually a really easy jump. It's the fact that you didn't know how to do it in the first place and didn't know how to sparrow fly. Take that previous step and then just add an extra step of letting yourself fall and watching your meter recharge every time. And as soon as you can dash 5 times again, you can sparrow fly for an infinite amount of time. Okay, so you want to watch this next clip carefully. Note how I'm only going to dash 5 times, not 6. If I dash 6 times, the chances are I'll hit the sky barrier. I slowly let it recharge and then dash another 5 times. Let myself fall, dash another 5 times. Let myself fall again, dash another 5 times. And then you should be over the Hellmouth. If not, the chances are your sparrow is unstable or you still need to perfect the previous steps. If your sparrow is unstable, all you need to do is do your first 5 dashes, and then after you get to the first 5 dashes, you just stabilize it in the air, flat it out, and then start spinning again. Continue that, stabilize, then continue spinning after it recharges. Keep spinning, stabilize again, then keep spinning. Okay, so this is something that you don't want to do. You don't want to hop off your sparrow while sparrow flying over the Hellmouth, unless you're confident that you can still make it. The reason I don't do it is because you lose all your momentum, and then you just have to hover in the spot, and the chances are you'll hit the sky barrier as well. And since you're still pretty new to sparrow flying, you most probably wouldn't be able to continue off that. If you do, I'm pretty fucking impressed, but it's understandable if you fall if you get off your sparrow. But yeah, just as a heads up, don't jump off your sparrow while flying. To finish this tutorial off, your final fly will be to jump onto the Crota's End platform where you begin Crota's End. This is an easy fly if you know how to fly over the Hellmouth. The only difference is that you have to be accurate and you gotta keep your balance. If you don't keep your balance, you'll go off course like what I'm doing here. In other words, just do what you did with jumping over the Hellmouth, except don't lose control. Just as a heads up, there is an invisible barrier on that platform, so if you hit it and then fall off, that is completely fine. As long as you get to that platform and hit an invisible barrier, you should be fine, and that goes to show that you've learned all the basics of sparrow flying. As you can see, I'm about to hit the platform, but then out of nowhere there's an invisible barrier that pushes me off. If you want, you can try get back up, but as long as you hit that barrier, you should be fine. Goes to show that you've done enough sparrow flying for the day. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more content, and please comment if you need any help on the sparrow fly. Also, we'll be bringing another tutorial for how to sparrow fly, but instead it's going to have a little twist. It's going to be speed sparrow flying, so I hope you guys will enjoy that as well. But for now, thanks for watching.